Everybody, welcome to Mosaico, the podcast putting pieces together. Today, we got to play a little bit with an instrumental version of No Diggity, a song by Blackstreet featuring Dr. Dre. I think this is a perfect way to introduce our Q&A today because a listener asked me what no diggity means. No diggity means no doubt. And as the song talks about a lady and all her qualities, no diggity, she has it all. I have to say thank you so much for all the questions that came in this week. There were actually so many that I have to break it down in 2 episodes. Or another thing that I thought, maybe I could answer a question per episode. Let me know what you think is best. But of course, we will also maintain our Q&As because they're really fun. So why not? As always, let's start with the more basic questions to then dive into more meaningful stuff. First question. Hey, Jin, I don't understand what you're doing. Where are you? And what are you up to? I don't know why I feel compelled to do the voices. Maybe I don't need to do the voices, but it was because of my acting background, probably. Anyways, I don't think Mosaico is the right forum to talk about my private life. Because, for many reasons, but also Mosaico is not about me, but about the information in each episode. And it may be about other people when they will be involved. But thank you for asking. I'm currently in Rome, but I will be back to London really, really soon. I am working as a trainee lawyer, an international journalist, and a little bit of an actress, as usual. If you want to know the specifics about my life, you can totally contact me and we'll see. Maybe I can tell you a little more spicy details. Yeah, right. As if there were spicy details. Question number 2. Why don't you do more content in English and why can I not see your face? I must tell you, it's really boring if people don't get to see your face. So I thought that the majority of my content is in English. So for those that don't speak French and Italian, I'm sorry, but a little bit of my content will be in French and in Italian, hopefully soon. As to my face, even though you guys miss it so much, I'm aware. As I said at the beginning of this process of Mosaico isn't defined yet. And so there is going to be probably some content where you can see my face. Voila. But also, if you're really interested in what I'm saying, you don't really need to see my face. So try to wait and see what happens in the next few months. And in the meantime, enjoy my voice. And just consider that if you find this content very boring, maybe it's not for you. And now let's dive into the third and last question for our Q&A today. How can we increase the sense of community in big cities? That's a really good question, and thank you for asking. Actually, the person that asked this question asked many more, and I want to respond to them all, but I will have to do it throughout many episodes in Mosaico because he was amazing. He asked a lot of very extremely interesting questions, and so should you all. Continue to do so, and possibly some of your questions will become entire episodes because maybe the answer will have too many implications. Who knows? Let's see. Anyways, going back to this person's question, there are a number of things that come to my mind. We live in a society that is increasingly individualistic, and that's not to preach, but we tend to be really concentrated on ourselves, on our own success, if that means anything. We tend to close off into technology and social media. We interact through our phones, our computers, and so it's really hard, actually, to think about a sense of community. If we think of increasing a sense of living community rather than online community, one of the first things I would say is to pay more taxes. Maybe taxing the people who earn more money in order to balance things out a little bit. But obviously, this is not a conversation that many people like. And actually, I'm not saying that we need to increase taxes that much. Particularly in places like Italy, where there's a lot of tax evasion, it would be enough to make sure that taxes are paid more fairly, enough by everybody. So I think a fair battle against tax evasion would be a good thing to create a greater sense of community, keeping in mind that if everybody pays taxes, then the amount of taxes per capita is going to be much lower, and there are going to be better services, which will lead to more free stuff, and that that will create a bigger sense of community. However, I am very aware that that's going to take a while to do if it's ever done in places like Italy, for example. And I'm referring to Italy so much because I am Italian, I know this reality, and because the person who asked the question is actually Italian. So while we work on that, I would say that organizing events and parties are a good way to increase a sense of community, but they have to be actually good. They can't be lame parties or lame events. Like, someone has to put themselves out there for free and actually create something good. For example, you can create an event to raise funds for a good cause, or you can make theater for children or for refugees. Actually, if you're interested in working for refugees here in Italy, in Rome especially, there is the Sant'Egidio community. Make sure I write it down in the description below, that is specialized in welcoming and working with migrants from all around the world. I think that, my friend, creates a great sense of community. But there's another great thing you can do, which is smile at people. Honestly, I'm kidding you not. I was seeing this therapist and his team a long time ago in Italy. His name was Giorgio Nardone. And just a while ago, I found him on TV and he was saying, if you don't want to feel lonely, to smile at people, because the majority of the people that you will smile at will smile back at you. And I guarantee it actually works to make eye contact, smile, and just feel the quite embarrassing, scary, but nice feeling of being smiled back at. Just in general, in life, do something nice, a kind act. I remember one time I was struggling and my credit card was rejected at a coffee shop. And this person immediately grabbed this card and paid for my coffee. And that's a very nice memory. And I don't think he did it because he had a second purpose in his head at all, because he had a wife and children. So he just did it out of kindness and made me feel good in that moment. Or another time, I was putting on makeup in an airport bathroom, and this girl just passes by and she's like, "You look beautiful." And I felt happy because I needed to hear that in that moment. And both times that didn't lead anywhere, but how do you know? Friendships could be created or long-lasting love stories. I will make sure I link you to some of Giorgio Nardone's books in the description below as well. But I want to leave you with something new today. Learn a new word with Mosaico so that you can better put pieces together. The word of the day is anagapesis. It's a word of Greek origin and it means basically falling out of love, no longer feeling any affection for someone you once loved. I needed to use it recently, I needed to learn it, and it felt really, really good. Ciao for now, and thank you for listening to our Q&A on Mosaico.